Yeah.
That's
Well,
YouTube doing the connection. And as soon as it's ready, Christine, you can start because it's going to be recording.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can start now.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, I thought I was thinking about this, what my subject would be today, and I thought, it's been a lot of changes in our industry, and I thought it would be kind of fun to kind of go back and look at the evolution of how networking even began and where it is currently. So I asked George to make a few comments after I make talk about this history. Is it okay, George? Is the recording? Is
Yeah,
it
it's recording. It's
okay?
perfect.
Okay.
Everything's perfect.
All right, let's go back to the beginning of when all of this really started. I was doing research yesterday on this, and I even learned a few things. And do you know, it says one may ask, you know, one may ask how the industry has gotten this far. And to understand the success, we must know its history. In 1855, the first direct selling company was established. Although direct selling was always already a concept that had been used in America since the 1700s, where individuals known as the Yankee peddlers would go from town to town and sell a variety of products. It was not until 1855 that the Southwestern Company was established. The company started selling books, Bibles through mail order, and after the Civil War ended, it began selling books door to door, turning into the first oldest direct selling company. Isn't that interesting? And then in 1886, a California perfume company is founded. California Preferred Company, whose name changed to Avon in 1939, was founded by David McConnell, a defender of women who wanted to allow them to gain economic independence as well as control over their lives and the lives of their families, thus making Avon one of the first companies to provide women with the possibility of gaining an income of their own. Avon is considered to be the first company to fully implement the reselling and direct selling method and currently ranked second in the DSA's Global 100 list, the revenue of 5.5 billion in 2018. Now, isn't that interesting? See, women didn't even work. And so women were at home. People had, one car garage. Women didn't work. So this gave them another extra income. And then in 1910, the Direct Selling Association is formed. The California Perfume, Avon, united with 9 other companies to create the first association to concentrate on the needs of the direct sellers. The Agents Credit Association, which is known today as the U.S. Direct Selling Association. And then in the 1930s, the party plan sales model was created. After Nomer Squires invented the party plan model, the industry evolved from solely being a one-to-one model to also being a one-to-many model that allowed consultants to sell to many customers while maintaining the personalization of one-to-one concept, thus allowing individuals to expand their reach to many customers. In 1951, Tupperware enters the world of direct selling. Because consumers needed demos to understand how Tupperware containers worked, in 1948, the first Tupperware home party was held. And in 1951, when the company realized that they were selling more of their products through demos and direct selling, it decided to leave retail and focus solely on direct selling. 1959, Amway changes the game. Founded in 1959, Amway ranked number 1 in the DSN's Global 100 list with a revenue of 8.8 billion in US dollars, introduced a new concept in direct selling industry, the multi-level compensation structure, a business structure that is used by hundreds of companies to this day. In 1978, the World Federation of Direct Selling Associations is founded. In 1970, 12 direct selling associations, the DSA was set up to address various direct selling problems around the world. In 1985, the first WFDSA World Code of Ethics is established. Just a minute, I get my paper here. 1990s, the internet is introduced. By the late 1990s, the start of the 2000s, the commercial use of the internet was in full bloom. And the direct selling industry has taken full advantage of this with the possibility to create websites, have information on products available to consumers over the web. Direct selling companies were sure to increase their profits. 2010, huge strides in tech. With advancement of technology and the internet came the introduction of online direct selling, a method that gave companies the opportunity to reach their target market with strategies such as email marketing, digital marketing, online catalogs. At this time, the world was being introduced to social media, although it had not been around for too long. By 2012, 78% of salespeople using social media outperform those who weren't using social media. Forbes 2013. These new marketing strategies allowed companies and consultants to engage in consumers across the globe and pave the way for the upcoming years. 2018, social selling is introduced. With social selling, the use of social media networks to directly interact with target market. Direct selling companies were able to expand their reach via social media sites, as well to grow a consultant network to include younger generations. As mentioned, the use of social media allowed direct selling companies to target younger individuals who were once not attracted to the industry and allowed for a target market expansion. Along social media, social selling, came the introduction of e-commerce and influence marketing, two strategies that broadened the industry's reach even more and allowed direct selling methods to expand from door-to-door selling, party selling, to online selling methods as well. Today, a lot has changed in the world since 1855, and the start of the direct selling, and surely a lot more, continue to change as technology continues to grow. Now, I have another little sheet here. It talks about kind of the complete history of networking from 1945 to 2024. The early years from 1945 to 1970. From 1945, Neutralite pioneers the first MLM company structure. 1959, Rich DeVos and Jay Andel found Amway after being Neutralite distributors. 1963, Mary Kay Cosmetic launches, introducing women focused on network marketing. Growth period, 1970 to 1990. The 1970s saw explosive growth in network marketing companies, with Herbalife launching in 1980. Shackley was in 1956, Mary Kay 1963, Herbalife 1980. I was thinking about this as I was reading this. I entered this arena in 1982, so I was just kind of in the middle of this growth period, but that was the major growth period. And then we became the digital transformation, 1990 to 2010. The internet revolutionized network marketing to enable online training, recruitment, sales tracking, introduction of e-commerce platforms, development of digital marketing tools, social media integration, and the modern era, 2010 to 24. Modern network marketing combines traditional relationship-based selling with digital technologies. Key industry changes: mobile apps for business management, virtual training platforms, compliance with regulations, focus on ethical practices. Industry stats 2024 continue. Global MLM market will be $200 billion. Inactive distributors worldwide is 120 million people. Leading markets are USA, China, and Korea. So I find that very, very, very interesting of where we are. And lastly, I have this little bit. These are all little tips. As we know, another little fact sheet here, I kind of overlap. It says networking officially began in 1994 when California Vitamins Corporation Nutrilite established the first recognized MLM. Which company is considered the pioneer of the modern MLM industry? Amway, founded in 1959, considered a pioneer of modern MLM. What is the landmark legal case that legitimized MLM business models? In 1979, the FTC versus Amway case established that MLM was a legitimate business model, distinguishing it from illegal pyramid schemes and setting important legal precedents. And so it says, how did the internet revolution impact networking? Again, overlapping. Internet revolution 1990s transformed networking, enabling online recruitment, e-commerce platforms, digital training systems. What are the largest network marketing companies by revenue? Avon, Amway, Avon, Herbalife, Mary Kate New Skin, huge companies. And it goes on and on and on. So, this industry has been around a long time. We have great, great, great companies. We have legal cases that have legitimized this. And yet there'll be some people out there that'll say, oh, is this a pyramid? Well, it's not, because they're illegal. The difference is you have to have a product to sell. It's not a Ponzi scheme of just enrolling people and people at the top make the money, put money in, and there's no product. But with this, we have great, great, great companies. But at the same time, everybody understands how big this industry is, because by 2031, 32, it will be over $400 billion industry, doubling. Now we're at 200 billion right now. We're going to $400 billion. But with that, we have actors coming in, and now everybody wants to jump in. They see the potential and the money that can be made, even as investors. And the problem is you have to be very discerning when you're joining a company to make sure you have great leadership, the people are well funded, because if you don't, the business will be gone in 2 years, because it takes a lot of money. And that was one of the reasons that I chose this company. When I talked to Daniel, I just didn't sign up without talking to Daniel. I said, I want to know what your vision is. What do you have in mind? What is your experience? And he told me, and he had a heart. It wasn't just about the money. It was about helping people. So you have to have an owner that is really financially capable of getting the business started, but also caring, because it takes a lot of money. And that's a problem. Too many of these people. And this is what I see also in the industry. You allow people like myself, maybe Kim, some other leaders that'll say, I'm going to start my own MLM. I'm going to start my own direct selling company. They have no experience. That is not their platform. Our Kim realized that. You remember when Kim was looking for a new company, she said, I don't want to be in charge of doing the corporate stuff. My expertise is building the sales force. And that's what mine is. I would never even pretend to start a new business in this arena. you have to have legal expertise, cost a lot of money, and then they don't really know what they're doing, and then they go out of business. And so here comes, we have all these little businesses that start out and then they flounder, and then they go, oh, we don't have money. So what do? Now they bring in investors to prop them up. And it's that's where the companies get in trouble. They bring investors in, and the investors coming in, and they're groups of investors, and George is going to talk about this. They will come in, they have an exit strategy the minute they enter. They're not in for the long term like our owner, Daniel. Only one owner who sees this as a legacy company. But these investors come in. So when you're investigating and you're looking at companies, you got to make sure you don't have these group of investors. And I can tell you, George and I just came from a company. That was the second company I was in, where the owners left, investors came in, and they could shut down that company at any time, get their money. And I think George can expand more on this, but I think that you need to know this is a rich history, a great platform for people that can make 6, 7 figure earners if they wish, or maybe they just want to make a little bit. It's there, but you have to have the right company, and be aware when you hear like a company like we just saw Modere go out of business. We had an owner, and I know personally someone that was in corporate there that said they were all shocked. There was no warning, and the corporate person, I will not mention the name, said a very uncaring owner that showed the people out just to get out because of the investors in there. They had the investors, they had the owner, they made the decision and just didn't even tell them and didn't even get their paychecks. So we're not one of those companies, but you have to be aware that there are, but don't compare them to anyone else or to the great companies that are still in business for 60, 70, 100-year-old companies. This industry works, but you've got to be with the great companies. And we are in the beginning of this new company that will go into to the stratosphere. And George, would you like to say some things regarding that?
Yes, thank you very much for the whole history. That's amazing information. Something I'm going to add, 1979, like you say, Amway, the government tried to say that the network marketing was a pyramid. And 1979 is when the difference was created. But there are so many people that still live in 1979. That's when the people say, oh, that's a pyramid. Yeah, they probably remember the news in 1979 or repeat something that their uncle told them. The difference, somebody asked again, the difference between a pyramid and a network marketing company, we have real products. That's it. Pyramid doesn't have products or use fake products just to say that it's a legal company. And it's very easy to see now when we see it today, by the way, the big race right now in pyramid scams using network marketing are the crypto companies. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter which one you get involved. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency. Listen, I didn't say cryptocurrency. I said that crypto companies that use network marketing, those are illegal. Those are pyramids. Because first of all, they're selling securities. You need license for that. That's already one illegality. And second, they're using they are selling memberships, etc., and they're not giving you really anything, and you are making money. And this is very popular right now because people hear about how Bitcoin and how these all things are going. And again, I'm not saying Bitcoin is a scam. I'm saying that network marketing companies that are promoting those investments, or also some of them are promoting forex investment in commodities on the network marketing form. Those are illegal too, because those are securities. You can go to jail for selling something with no license. Besides the network illegal part of pyramid, you can go to jail. I know people that I know in network marketing started with me in USANA that they are right now in jail because they were promoting one of those pyramids. One of them live in Utah. As a matter of fact, he's not in jail yet. He's trying to defend himself. But he was selling a company that crashed. It's called GPS Partners that crashed 2 years ago, was shut down. And many people in network marketing got involved. Oh, that's the new explosion. Well, tons of them are going to jail, sadly, because those are illegal. Remember, now we sell a real product. How do you know if something is legal? Look at the older companies. What is Amway selling? What products they have? They have nutritional products, they have cleaning products, etc. They have real products, and we are talking about a company that started in 1955. By the way, there are people, I hate to use the word, but they're dumb, that they say, oh, Amway is illegal. Yeah, it has been running for 70 years. They don't have a clue what they're talking about. They don't have a clue. The other thing, and I've been saying many times this, it's why it's funny, people hear me many times, but some people seem that they have a trampoline in their ear that everything that they hear bounce out. 2 years ago, when Rodan Fields went directly to the public, I said something, and I said that one company was going out of business. That was Modera. I say privately. Some people that privately heard me, I knew that what happened to Modera. Why? There is a group, there are venture capitalists, they call VC, or institutional investors. VCs and institutional investors, what they do usually, in some cases, it's their own money, but they have thousands of other investors that they're a smaller investor, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and they have millions of dollars in investment. And for those of you, by the way, that have retirement accounts, you have it sometimes in mutual funds or in companies that are investing in other companies. That's what institutional investors and many of the venture capitalists are. And then they go and they buy companies, and in most cases, almost every case, rarely they keep the company for a long term. They usually keep it for a short time, they make the money, and they move the investments to another company. That's the way that it works, because they want to try to get, for people that, for example, you have the account and it's giving you, let's suppose, 5, 6, 7% per year. They want to make sure that they move from company to company to keep those yields that they are giving you high. But they're already making money, by the way. By you giving the money to them, basically they are making money. They are not risking as much themselves. There are exceptions, but themselves. And then what happened, they discovered network marketing a few years ago, and they start getting in and they screw up so many companies. By the way, it's not only network marketing. For those of you that have been in traditional business, when institutional investors buy a company, they usually mess it up. Maybe not right away, but in the long term, they mess it up in more cases because they go there with the only one intention, profit. No, they don't think about the culture that there's in the company. They don't think about, no, they just go there, start cleaning house, eliminating jobs, etc., make it more profitable, and then they sell it or they just make more money. But it's not the entrepreneur that start a company and they have his or her heart or their heart as a group in the company, and they are going to do whatever it takes. An example of this, 1979, in November 2023, 2 years ago, and the government got involved and wanted to screw up network marketing. Most people don't know that. 2023, actually was in 2021, 4 years ago. And then went on a rampage, and they shut down a company that was called Advocare. I don't know if you remember Advocare. They fined it for $300 million. The owners got scared to death and they shut it down. They didn't defend the company. They went to the next company, actually two, Vima and Nerion. They couldn't do the same. Why? Because the owners defend the distributors, and they went to court and they beat in November 23. They beat the FTC. The FTC cannot mess up with us anymore. That was the new government, by the way, that tried some kind of, there are always bureaucratic people that say they want to sound like heroes. I shut down the bad guys, the beast, etc. That's what they tried to do. And then Nerion won the lawsuit November 23, and then FTC, basically, the judge say, stay away. You can't try to do the same thing. They were trying to do the same thing around what the law in 1979 against Amway, but going around in a technicality. That technicality was shut down by the judge. I love that. In other words, that showed that we are legal. But anyway, again, investors. Why insane investors? investors don't defend the company. They see impression like that and they shut it down. Example, Modern. It was owned by Z Partners. They bought the company from Tom Maurer. That I know him and I know his son. New Ways. New Ways started in 1986. In around 2012 or 11, Tom Maurer, the owner, got in trouble. He was an interesting guy without going in trouble, saying, and then he put the company for sale. And then a group of investors called Z Partners that they invest in other companies. They also invest in Herbalife and the stock, but in smaller amounts. But Z Partners bought the whole thing New Ways, and then they took over. As soon as they took over, Adrian and I, we meet in a coffee place with a guy that was reorganizing the whole company, and they offer us. They wanted to bring 3 couples, and we went one of the couples to launch the new name, New Ways. Excuse me, Modern, because they changed the name to Modern from New Ways. And one of the reasons I say no is because it was owned by investors. I say eventually it's going to hurt the distributors. Let's fast forward. 2023, this group borrowed a lot of money to invest in other deals because they have hotels, they have other deals. But they borrowed the money from Modern. They couldn't pay. And when you look at them, and the news said the assets were frozen. They didn't defend the distributor. They said, the heck, we already making the money. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell anybody. We don't have investors. Well, we have one called Daniel Pico, if you know him. He has his heart in the company. That's why every time that happened with Beachbody, Rodham Fields, Rodham Fields, what happened? They got a big loan. They couldn't pay. Investors took over. And what did they do? They went direct to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Beachbody, owned by investors, they went direct to the public. Isogenics was when John Anderson, that was the original founder, got sick. The other founders that were known, they were only 10% of the company. They brought investors to buy him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? Investor, okay, the company went well for 8 years, but most people didn't know that. By the way, they decided to cash out. And what did they do? They borrow. And again, they couldn't pay the loan. And 4 groups of investors took over the company 2 years ago. I mean, we see that happening when investors of VCs, venture capitalists, get involved. That is not happening here. And that's interesting. When you see the company, what is a serious company? Was no, when the people have their heart in the company, they're going to defend the company. It's why Herbalife, Amway, Nu Skin are alive. They fought the government at different stages. The founder of Herbalife, Mark Hughes, he was in the Congress, and this congressman was screaming at him, and the congressman was like 400 pounds, and Herbalife was way lost, and he said, you know what Mark Hughes said? It's a famous law. You know what? You need my product. You need to lose weight. Stop screaming at me. In the Congress. That was in 1982. And Herbalife won. Nu Skin, Barbara Walters in the 90s came on this news saying that Nu Skin was a pyramid scam. They won, was proved the opposite. Now, that's not happening as much anymore, except again in 2021, 22, when the FTC went to try to shut down Bima. Bima changed the name after that, but still is around. But the owners defend the company. Investors usually don't if they have already made the money.
Mm-hmm.
And they won. And they won in our behalf. It's why when people start talking bad about Amway, for example, I get upset. Because Amway fought a battle that make network marketing legal. It's why I tip my hat to people in Amway, and then smaller pipes like Herbalife and Nu Skin and now Neora and Bima. These people fought the battles for us. That we are not by ourselves or not. It's when people say, oh, the other thing that's interesting, I don't want to go too long, is some people said, oh, it's why I don't join network marketing, because what happened to Modern. Last year, almost 1 million companies went out of business, according to the American Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Even how many Joanne Fabrics, buying Joanne Fabrics, just announced going bankruptcy. And people don't say, oh, stores don't work. How many? I'm going to the 60s. When I was a kid, I have an airplane, a toy plane. That was a Pan Am. Remember Pan American? Pan Am plane was the largest airline in the world. What happened to them? The people don't say, oh, we are not going to open more airlines in the planet because they don't work. Braniff and Pan Am, two of the biggest ones in the world, disappear.
Yeah.
When people say, it's why somebody posted, and it made a post, and they say, oh, it's why I don't join MLM, because they always shut down. And first of all, it's not true. We already went through the history. Christine went through the history of the company, of the network marketing, how a company that are 50 years old. And there are a lot of smaller companies that are small that most people don't even know, like Life Plus, for example. How many people know who Life Plus is? It's been around for 30 years. I have a friend that is one of the top distributors there. I didn't even know they still were around until I found out him posting on Facebook. I'm a coach, a 100-year-old company out of business. Yeah, businesses go out of business, and the network marketing is no bigger than any other company. Actually, the business that close the most business every year are restaurants. Restaurants have the highest rate of failure. It's still people are opening restaurants, and you say, "Oh, you are dumb. Why you are opening a restaurant?" Because if you are good and you have the money, you're going to be successful. And the food is good, of course. But what I mean is,
George, I don't know if everyone knows, J.C. Penney's is owned by the mall, like investors of the mall, because the mall knew that if J.C. Penney's closed down, it would close down everything because they're the anchor. So
right.
they don't really care about the store, but they needed to. That's why now Forever 21 and all of them are incorporated in J.C. Penney's. But when J.C. Penney's went down, I mean, they were 100 years of great store, but they got investors to come in, and now it's just being run by investors of a mall. So that industry is just as like, it's so crazy that people don't understand that.
I know, I agree. And that's why it's funny when people say never. First of all, usually when people talk like that, they have never had a business in their life. They don't have a clue about what a business is.
Yeah.
Because they think that, first of all, to have a business, you have to be special. And sometimes you have to be a bad person, because you see it in the movies, no? In many movies, usually the bad person is the person that has the money. Come on. Everybody's good except the bad person that has the money. If you have money, you know that that's going to be the killer. But anyway, that's just today, and thank you, Christine, for bringing that up, because we are in a great time. And by the way, network marketing always adjusts with time. It doesn't change. The basics are the same. It's just that just in time, like say social media in 2018 is when it started getting very strong into network marketing and e-commerce, etc. It's why we have tools like the app. The app is an amazing e-commerce tool. It's amazing. And for those of you that didn't see the presentation with JJ, is there already. Again, I put it just there too. And he went just to some of the basic parts. He didn't go in detail in the paid version. He mostly went into the free version. That's an example of e-commerce. And by the way, it's an investment in our business. It's why when somebody complains about $9.99 a month or $90 a year, I say, come on. When Christina and I, and also Antonietta, many of you started in network marketing, we were spending thousands of dollars a year in brochures, in audios, in videos, and stuff that we don't need anymore. That app saved us so much time. All the videos are there, all the recordings are there, and it's going to become even way more powerful with the things that are put in for a convention. No? And many other things. We are investing in our business, and we have an amazing business. We have an amazing owner. We have an amazing scientist, and the best sign that we have an amazing owner is the fact that we had Dr. Dan and Tyson as part of the company, because Daniel is bringing the best for a reason, because he wants to make sure that this company become one of the largest companies in network marketing. We are brand new, but in 10 years, the same way that we talk about Nu Skin and Herbalife and many of the other companies, Usana, etc., they're going to be talking about us. Oh, yeah, 15 years down the road, yeah, Tree is one of those oldest companies that are so strong. Think about it. But anyway.
Yeah. And I think that's important. Thank you. You're so full of knowledge. I think George, I always go to George. He knows every comp plan, every company. He's really an expert on it. But, like I said, companies are, I mean, because it's such a lucrative industry, investors are coming in and then they use it, like George says about piggybacking and taking the money out to fund and pay their other investors. And then when they're done, then they shut it down and they didn't care about that. So that's why, again, that's why I like having one owner with experience and had the money to fund it. And that's why we're debt free. And we've got Tyson, like you said, 6 years, he consulting other companies from, I can't remember all his companies that he's done the consulting, but he's very experienced. So he understands the industry. And even Troy Moore was in charge of all the logistics and from a multi-billion-dollar company. And so Daniel only brings the very best over to help and move this forward. But I would be concerned about companies even like Shackley. I mean, that's an old company, but now investors, billionaire investors have come in and bought that company, trying to rebrand it. They're just looking long-term to flip that company. Anytime they're coming in, they're going to try to make money and then change it. My husband has told me this, because he's business school in Harvard. He said the first thing they do, investors come in and they say, what's our exit strategy? That's the first thing to think. When are we going to be selling? They have limits, quotas. They know what they're going to do. And then that's when the people get hurt. And it's really unfortunate. But we are really lucky because we have Dr. Dan. We have a legitimate product, the best product on the planet. And we have everything that anybody needs. We have all the technology, like George said, our apps, but we have affiliate link. So anybody that wants to come in and do social media, we've got that. Remember all the things that have changed? Some companies didn't change. And now they're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Old companies that didn't change, they're trying to regroup. But we came as a new company and had many alternatives, from the binary, which is the best comp plan ever, and then matching checks, and you could do the affiliate link marketing. You have everything right here. And then you have the health movement, $500 billion platform, people looking this year in the supplement industry. So we're just redirecting their spending into our company that has the best products. So